Hey everybody. Well, it's been another week and I have gotten so much more done than I really anticipated. Um, which included obviously finishing the wing. There's still a few odds and ends to do, but I got the wing mounted to the fuselage and got the wing saddle built. So, first of all, where we left off last week, I had one of the wing sections built and sheeted per the top side, and the other side was just starting to be framed up. So obviously everything has been completed as far as the build. You can clearly see where the aileron is here. What I did with the aileron is when I sheeted the bottom of the wing, I tack glued the aileron back into position, so you can clearly see where it is. But on the bottom side, I did not sheet them separately. I used one piece of sheeting all the way down, which, as you can see by looking down the trailing edge, I have one heck of a straight wing. That is insanely straight. And if you remember, I was questioning the amount of washout. As you can see, I did remove some of that when I sheeted the bottom. I built a jig, so it still has a decent amount, but I just really despised how it looked with the amount of washout that was on there, and I have a hard time believing this plane would actually need that much washout. So we will find out. I'm sure it will be fine. Let's see. So yeah, everything's all joined together. It's been, center section has been fiberglassed. I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, bottom part of the front of the fuselage has been sheeted. Now that the wing is mounted, I was able to get that all sheeted in. But if you remember, oh, this is going to be loud. I better turn that down. Don't want to offend some of the viewers that don't like my TV playing in the background. The wing, the way it mounts, most commonly a wing will mount to a wing saddle. Over here to my P47, you can clearly see a solid wing saddle that the wing sits flush to. I have to turn this down even more. It's amazing how videos on YouTube are so different as far as volume. Anyways, so this one does not mount like that. It starts off by putting by the two mounting pegs to go into the number 2 bulkhead here. Then inside, we can see the mount. So we have a 1/4-inch piece of plywood here, and a 1/2-inch piece of, oh, I don't know, maple or something. Just another piece of hardwood for the threads to dig into. And that's all epoxy to the side of the fuselage and got triangle stock in the corner to reinforce that. But you can clearly see that that mount does not reach the wing. Instead, we got two, one on each side, balsa blocks, which take up the gap between the wing and the fuselage and help kind of, center it this way. By sanding those blocks, it took quite a bit of work to sand those blocks to get the wing right and to set the incidence right. But it all went so incredibly well. The camera may or may not pick it up, but this is one heck of a straight airplane with very minimal effort to build it straight. So once it was mounted, the wing was not actually in contact with any part of the fuselage. So I had to make some templates and cut this piece here, which is basically now my wing saddle. And I'm going to have to go in and make some kind of a fillet using epoxy and micro balloons just to kind of doll it up a little bit because that's ugly looking. I'm not going to do a scale wing fillet just because this is not going to be flown as a scale subject. There'll be no competition in this airplane's future, just for fun. So I'm just going to make it look nice. Let's see, what else did we do? Oh yeah, so I stuck the engine on there just a minute ago, mainly just so I can flip the prop over and make airplane noises. I just love this little engine. I think I'm actually gonna buy a couple more of them. Why? Just because I can, if I can find them for good prices. So this plane is so light. No, I haven't weighed it. I'm not even gonna weigh it, but I'm telling you, this thing is light. So that 160 is gonna fly it very well. See, I got strings running through. You can't see the ones in here because they're for the retracts, which are underneath. I still have to make a mount in here. I showed you how I made those mounts when I did my Carolina Chipmunk and also my SIG quarter scale Cub. So I can do that, you know, before, obviously, just before I get ready to cover it. Cut the ailerons off, get them beveled and hinged, but I'm not going to do that until I get my wingtip blocks on there and sanded to shape. Then I'll pop the ailerons off. The debacle with the retracts. So there is no cutout for the retracts yet, just a little reference hole where the mounts are. This was going to have... there's a 1988 Dave Vogeland with no shirt on. Sorry about that. Love you, Uncle Dave. This was going to have Robart air retracts and robo struts that were going to look really nice for this airplane, since this plane has a very unique landing gear design. But remember how I said there was a debacle with Robart? Well, the debacle turned into what I want they don't have in stock, and they don't know when it's going to be in stock. That's not going to work for me. So I canceled my order and ordered a set of giant scale electric retracts from Hobby King, of all places. I'm a little skeptical, but my buddy Jeff Michael, who lives here locally, he's got a 109 just like the one I have. So that's a 84-inch airplane. He's got those electric gear in there, and they do just fine. So fingers crossed. And as far as landing gear struts, I am still not sure what I'm going to use. These Hobby King gear use just a different size mounting pin than anything else. So my buddy Jeff may be helping me build some custom struts for this bad boy. We shall see. So what's next? Well, the plane is essentially built, so next is going to be just a lot of finishing stuff. It's supposed to have a belly pan kind of affair under there, but I think all I'm going to do is there's a former that goes up in here that levels out with this former here. Then I'm just going to kind of take some sheeting and feather it out. It's supposed to have a belly pan that goes all the way to the back, but it fits the back of the fuselage just fine. So I don't think I'm going to do exactly what's on the plans, just close. So I still got that to do, a lot of finishing stuff. Still figuring out exactly how I'm going to go about attaching the front windscreen. The difficult part of this is the fact that it is recessed to blend into the fuselage. So really I have to mount it before I cover the fuselage, because my covering is going to be going over this, or should I say across it. So it's going to be kind of interesting. I'm still not 100% sure what I'm going to do. We will cross that bridge when we get there. My goal is to start covering this sometime in February. Of course, every time I say something like that, it's usually a couple weeks, and then I'm covering. But I know that's not going to be the case because I still have a lot to do. But now that the fuselage front end is completely sheeted, I put the last coat of spackling compound on the cowl. So now I can attach that to the front and start sanding away and blending it into the fuselage. Then once that's done, I'm going to take some 1/2 ounce glass cloth, fiberglass the outside of the cowl, 2 coats. The first coat to apply the glass will be mixed 50-50 with alcohol. Then a flow coat of just plain resin. Sanded out, primed and painted. And also the inside, because I am running a glow engine with a drippy carburetor that's going to be up in there somewhere, I'm going to also resin the inside of the cowl, probably just the bottom side, just in case for any fuel that drips down in there so it won't eat away at the wood. So yeah, still got that to do. So yeah, we're to the very, I'm sure somebody saw this. Yep, I ordered some glow fuel. Red Max fuel. I've always been a Byron guy, not always, but for the biggest portion of my modeling career, I've flown Byron fuel for glow airplanes, that is. But now that Byron is no longer involved in the hobby in any way, shape, or form, my dad used Red Max fuel in the late 80s, kind of into the 90s. I very vividly remember using Red Max. But it's good stuff. It always has been. So I ordered some, relatively reasonably priced, and good stuff. Fast shipping, like a week and a half to get it, not even. So yeah. And I am going to be putting this plane in my FreeSky X20. So you can see I've already got the model memory set up. Got a picture of Corvin Miller and his wife in front of the Globe Swift. So that's ready to go. Let's turn this off so I don't kill the batteries here. A lot of little things that need to be done. Honestly, I think I'm going to take a break for a couple days just because I have been working on it every single day. Since I got the first wood order from National Balsa, I don't think I've missed a single day working on it. And I've been asked, how can you build a plane so quickly? Especially scratch building a plane. Well, the secret is really no secret. You have to work on it every day. Even if it's just, some days are an hour or two and other days are just a few minutes. Every day you need to make progress. So if you cannot dedicate every day, then building can be very difficult. Because when you miss a day or two, well, then that can turn into a week or two, and then eventually you kind of lose hope, and you lose time, and you lose ambition in a project. So you got to stick with it. You got to work on it every day. I do most of my building at night, usually around. Honestly, during the weekdays, I usually don't come down to the shop until 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. And I work for a few hours and go to bed. Weekends, yeah, I might work on it throughout the day, but still, I like working at night. Everybody else is in bed, house is quiet. I don't know, it just seems like a good time for me to work. Well, I mean, this thing is just cool. It's turned out so nice so far. It's really going to be a sharp airplane. And if I really like it, if it ends up flying really well, I do have kind of a plan for the future, which is this is going to be about 82 inch wingspan, depending on how I make the wingtips. My thoughts are to enlarge the plans to 100 inch. So it'd be still clipped wing, but the clipped wing would be 100 inch instead of 80 or 82. And put a big Sato twin in it in the front, gas. So that's kind of the thought at this point. And that one would be built a little bit more scale, if you will. It'd still be a monocoated airplane. I don't ever really plan on glassing an airplane again. The only time I do any glassing or painting is either for parts like cowls, canopy, or cowls, wheel pants, stuff like that, or if I'm making repairs to a plane that's already been built. I just don't like glassing. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. I just don't like how time-consuming it is. It takes... If I had a very nice, dedicated shop that I could do that kind of work in without having to go somewhere, and I'm talking as far as, you know, painting and stuff like that, then I'd be doing more of it. But yeah, it's just too much of a hassle when I can just unroll some monocoat and go for it. I mean, this was a shiny airplane anyway, and yeah, that looks nice. Monocoat can look good as long as you know what you're doing. So I think that should pretty much do it for now. I'm going to start tearing things down, and I think next I'm probably going to do the wingtips next. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to get the ailerons all done. I'm going to put the fuselage away for now and really concentrate on getting the wing finalized. And then I'll start working on the wing saddle again, figure out what I'm going to do for a fillet, if I want to go all out and do a scale fillet or just do something simple, just to kind of give it a little bit of transition. What I'm thinking is just some epoxy and micro balloons, kind of goob it on there really heavy. Oh. Then kind of using the end of a spoon as my radius and making the fillet that way. So it's not a scale size fillet, but it'll give it a nice transition. So that's probably what I'm gonna do. But we'll see. I know I keep saying I don't know if I'll make a video next week, but it all depends on the progress. If I got enough done to bring you back and show you what's going on, I will. If not, stay tuned down the road. Later.